my channel, Live 1,000 Lives. My name's Janaea, and I just want to thank you all for coming to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, thanks so much for joining me once again. And today I'm going to be bringing you kind of like a two-part video. The first half of this video is going to be my January TBR, and my January wrap-up, and the second half is going to be my February TBR. I know that it's a little late because February is half over, but I have started a new job, I have gotten sick recently, and I just haven't been able to post. So I'm getting over my sickness, and I thought I would do this real fast and let you guys know how I've been doing. So, in the month of January, I read a total of 5 books, and I'm going to start with my least favorite and go to my favorite. So, I only had one 3-star book, and that was the lowest rating I had for the month of January, so that's pretty good. The 3-star book that I had was Santa Cruz by Mary Higgins Clark. I read this because I kind of wanted to read a mystery. I was going to do it for a readathon, and then I didn't do the readathon. But I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because it just kind of bored me a lot. I didn't really find it all that exciting, and I didn't really find the mystery very mysterious, I guess. It was entertaining, like a cozy, like, mystery that, you know, if you like those kind of things, but I'm not really into them that much. I like something that is twistful and that I don't see coming. So I only gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book, which I rated a 4 out of 5 stars, is a graphic novel, and that was the Graveyard Book Volume 1 graphic novel. And I only gave it a 4 out of 5 because it was kind of slow starting and it didn't really catch my attention. But I enjoyed the story and the writing a lot. I've heard people don't really like the real book, the Graveyard Book, but the graphic novel to me was really good. I haven't read the real Graveyard Book, but the graphic novel was pretty good. And so I gave that one a 4 out of 5 just because at first it was a little slow to me, and the very first page is kind of graphic, and I was like, this is in the children's section, like middle grade graphic novel, you know, and I just kind of, I wouldn't necessarily want my 10-year-old son reading it, so that was a little weird to me, but other than that, it was a good story overall. Then I also read the second volume of that, the Graveyard Book Volume 2, and did I say Graveyard? Yeah, Graveyard. I don't know what I'm saying. And I give the second volume a 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I really liked the way things wrapped up. It was a little more sad to me than the first one. I mean, the first one is sad, but I don't know. I really, really liked it overall. I would have given it 4.5 out of 5 stars for the whole graphic novel series, you know. So those are pretty good. The next book that I read, I listened to on audiobook, and it has become one of my favorites. These last 2 books actually have become some of my favorites. But that was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. Oh my gosh, I cannot stop thinking about this book. I love this book with a passion. It made me laugh. It made me cry. I loved it so very, 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 very much. It's about this girl, Wendy, who has, you know, 26 or 27 unrequited crushes, and it's so cute, and I just absolutely loved it, and I loved her parents. She has 2 moms, and her sister is so funny, and kind of reminds me of my sister in ways and stuff, but oh my gosh, it was such a cute read, and I loved the ending so very much. But I wanted more and more and more. Like, I didn't want the story to end, and that's why I think it was a good story for me, and it's such a beloved book for me. being a bigger person, with the main character also being a bigger character in person, it was very, very relatable, and I cherish it. I cannot wait to get a physical copy. The ebook, I cannot talk. The audio book was fantastic. The narrator was excellent. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I highly, highly recommend it, whether you read it or listen to it or ebook it. I don't care. You just need to read it. The last book that I read in January was The Door That Led to Where by Sally Gardner. I didn't tell you who The Graveyard Book was written by. That was Neil Gaiman, by the way. But The Door That Led to Where I'm sorry, is by Sally Gardner, and I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's about this boy named AJ who, he's kind of down on his luck. His mom is mean to him, and it, trigger warning for child abuse and neglect. There's a lot of that. And for violence among other kids, there's some of that too. But anyway, he is down on his luck. He gets a job at a place he never thought he'd be able to work. And then he discovers a mystery in this key that leads to a door with his name on it. And it's very interesting. It's a time travel-ish book. Me and my husband are in debate whether it's actual time travel or parallel dimension, whatever. He didn't read the book, but he says from what I'm describing to him, and he's big on time travel and all that stuff, he says it sounds more like like another dimension or something. But it is phenomenal. I absolutely loved every minute of it. I could not put it down. It was so good. So those were what I read in January. I'm really sorry. So those are what I read in January. Now, let's get on to the books I plan to read or have already read in February. I'm going to start with the books that I have read. And that would be... I've only read 2, but I'm in the middle of the 3rd one. I've read Lady Castle by Dawson Woods, Farrow, and Nalgely. I picked this up at my library because I was looking for another graphic novel because I'm obsessed with them now. And I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like my favorite graphic novel that I've picked up, but it was really good. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's about it's about this kingdom where the king is basically a sexist, and he doesn't want the women to speak unless spoken to. He only uses them for their talents, like blacksmithing or whatever, and he locks his oldest daughter up in a tower, and the only way she can get out is by marrying someone he sends to her, and she refuses. So she's stuck in this tower for like 7 years or something. Anyway, the men go out one day, all the men in the village, and they get wiped out by a dragon, supposedly. This is a series, so I don't know everything. And so the women have to take over, and they nominate the blacksmith as the king, their new king. Not queen, king. And I found the concept super enlightening, and their kingdom has been cursed by a witch or wizard, and they have to deal with all of that, and the fact that a ton of different races and creatures hated their original king. It's phenomenal. It's really good. I liked it. The characters are spunky, and I really enjoyed this one. The second book I have already read and finished in February was Down Among the Sticks and Bones. Now, I am not as big of a fan of these as most people seem to be. They're not bad. I'm not going to say that they're horrible or anything like that. I enjoy them, but to me they're slow, and there's not enough in them for me. I feel like I need more information, and I feel like we're not going to get that if she only does 3 books, which is what I've been hearing, is that be Beyond the Sugar Sky or whatever is going to be the last one. And I hope that that's wrong, because I feel like we need to know more about the characters and have them wrapped up better. But this one, I'm not going to tell you a lot about this, because if you haven't read Every Heart a Doorway, this will spoil some stuff for you about certain characters. So I'm not going to tell you too much. I rated it, I think, a 4 out of 5 stars, because like I said, I don't hate it, but I'm not as in love with it as everyone else seems to be. But it is a good, fast read, and it is intriguing. The concept is intriguing. I just hope that she will wrap it up really good with whatever the last book seems to be, that she will wrap all of their stories up nicely. Because this, to me, was not wrapped up at all for what we learn in Every Heart a Doorway. So yeah, and what we learned at the end of this book, I'm like, she better have another book about these characters, because I want to know what the frick happens. So I'm a little hesitant on these books, because I'm afraid that she's not going to wrap any of the characters up at all. But they are pretty good, and they are entertaining. So, the other book that I am currently reading, I have not finished, but is really good. I wanted to read more lovey-dovey type of stuff in February, even though those first two were not. And that is Love and Other Train Wrecks by Leah Cohen, I think. And this one is pretty good. I'm not exactly halfway, but I'm working on it. And so far, this is about a girl who is dealing with the trauma of her father leaving her mother for another woman. And she goes to she's on her way to his commitment ceremony, because her parents are not legally divorced. And she's trying to deal with her mom's anxiety and her mom's, you should hate your father the way I do, but also her dad's, I love you, this has nothing to do with you, that, you know, this is between me and your mom type thing. So it's a very interesting story. And then you also meet a guy who has done something we don't know yet to end his relationship with his ex-girlfriend, and he's trying to win her back. And they are on an adventure together. So this one's really good so far. I like it so far. Hopefully it will be good. So some of the other books that I have here are just random things I picked out because they looked lovey-dovey, so I don't really know anything about them. And one of them is Summer Unscripted by Jenny Klein. Like I said, I don't know anything about it. All I know is that it's a story of missed connections, missed opportunity, and how not to miss out on the love of your life. It looks like it's going to be she's with one boy, but she falls for another boy. But I'm not sure. So, we shall see how this one plays out. The next one is Between Us and the Moon by Rebecca Maziel. Not sure if I'm saying that right. And this one, I'm not really sure what it's about at all, except for it looks like it's romantical, because there's a girl and a guy on the cover. I did read in part, and basically it's about this girl who follows in her beautiful sister's footsteps. You know, she's kind of been overshadowed by her sister. But she's like kind of a nerd. Like, she likes math, and she's an astronomer, and all this stuff. So she's trying to get in touch with a boy that she's loved since kindergarten. So we'll see. Not sure. The next one, sorry, is Here We Are Now. And I'm not really sure what this one's about either, except for it looks kind of romantical. But yeah, so it has to do with music. I know that. But this one's by Jasmine Wargar. But I'm excited to find out. So I need to read faster because I have all these books and I'm not reading very fast. The next one, and this one I'm super excited for. It's called Cat and Meg Conquer the World by Anna Pramaza. Not really sure. It says, separately, they're a mess. Together, they just might be awesome. And this has to do with Cat, who has anxiety. It makes her difficult for her to meet new people. The only place she really feels safe is behind her computer screen while she's playing her favorite video games. And then you have Meg, who hates being alone, but her ADHD keeps pushing people away from her. So this will be exciting for me because my 10-year-old son was diagnosed with ADHD this summer. And I kind of fall into both of this category. I hate being alone, but I also have really bad anxiety. So I want to see how they portray this in here, and hopefully it's good. But yeah, I'm super excited to read this one. I don't know why I didn't pick this one up first, but I wanted to read Love and Other ones first. I am not a physical reader of 2 books at one time unless they're completely different. Like, I can read a graphic novel in a book, but trying to read 2 of these at one time is really hard, especially if they're the same type of genre. For me, it gets way too confusing and I confuse the stories. So I need to just read faster. Alright, we're down to the last 4. I know, gosh, this is the longest February TBR ever. This one's called Water in May by Ismee Williams, I think is how you pronounce the name. This one is I think is going to be more of a sad love story. It says, will her baby's broken heart break her own? And this is about a 15-year-old girl who ends up being a mom. And it says, Mari's baby is supposed to be her future, and then he gets sick. I love the cover of this. And I was born in May, which was what intrigued me. But also, I have experienced losing a baby a couple of times, actually. I have 2 amazing sons who are healthy. One of my sons is deaf in both ears, however, not fully deaf. And my other son has ADHD. So my kids do have their own issues, but they are healthy, except for, those. And, but I have had a couple of children pass. So, that is always hard. So I'm excited, but really nervous about this. Because it says it's heartfelt, but heartbreaking. So we'll see. But I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really good. As you can tell, all these books are from my library because I wanted to do, February is the love month, with Valentine's Day and everything. So I wanted to do Love Your Library. So I just am reading books from my library this month. I know, kind of weird, but I decided that's what I wanted to do. This last book is not romantical that I know of, but I have wanted to read this since it came out, and that's Given to the Sea. I could probably start reading this now with the other books, but I have a really hard time picking up 2 solid books at the same time, unless it's like a self-help book and a fiction book. But anyway, all I know is that this girl has been raised to be a sacrifice to the sea and to keep the sea god or whatever happy. Other than that, I don't really know anything about it, and I don't want to. I love the ocean and I love the sea. So anything that has to do with the ocean, mermaids, sea creatures, whatever, I am all for. So I'm excited to start this one too. The last book is a graphic novel, Amulet, number 6. So in one of my last videos, I said that I had read Amulets up to 7. Lie. I've only read up to 5. The reason I thought I had read 7 was because I had read the first 2. I had borrowed the last 3, so 5. And then I had bought my son 3. So, the first 3. So for some reason, I calculated that as I had read 7. Why, I'm not really sure. But I had gotten him some, and so I thought that I had read more than, I don't know. Whatever. So I'm excited to continue on with the series. I think number 6, I think 7, it has just recently come out, and I'm not sure how many more are in this series yet. So I'm excited to learn what happens in this one. If you've been watching my channel at all, you know I love this series. I absolutely adore this series. So I'm probably going to pick this up real soon, because your girl needs to know what happened. And the last one, not the last one. I am currently listening to The Jewel on audiobook. Because it's an audiobook, I don't have a picture, but I'll put one up right here somewhere. Or over here, who knows, wherever it is side. The Jewel by Amy Ewing. I did not know if I was going to like it, and I am freaking in love with it. I listened to like 4 hours last night while I was trying to go to sleep. Amazing. There's 2 other audiobooks, or 3 other audiobooks I'm going to try to listen to. 1 being City of Ashes, 2 being Fangirl, and 3 being They Both Die at the End. So I've wanted to read this for a while, but this concept scares the bejesus out of me, so I keep putting it off. So hopefully now that I have this, I will read it, or listen to it. And hopefully it won't be as bad as I think it will. So, I don't know why the concept freaks me out, but knowing when you're gonna die freaks me out. Like, I would rather just not know. That's just me. So those are all the books I plan to read in February. Like I said, I've only read 2.5. So I highly doubt I'll get to the rest of these, but I'm gonna try. So anyway, let me know what you have read in February, or you are planning to read in February. Let me know if you've read any of these books, any of them at all, and let me know what you think, if they're worth my time or not, because that's something I'm going to try to do more this year, is DNF books that I don't like. Because what's the point in wasting my time when I have all these other books I could read? So, let me know if they're not worth it, if you've read them, you know. And then let me know why. No spoilers, though. I don't want that. No spoilers. Anyway, guys, I'm really sorry that I sound like crap and I've been coughing up the whole time. But thank you for your patience. And remember, a reader lives 1,000 lives, and so can you. So keep on reading. Bye!